Thank you very much. We are certainly happy to be here tonight in Felt Forum. But this is certainly an occasion that, despite who's here, who is not here, that is very important to people around the world. It is important because for too long we around this country, certainly we that are black, have been mentally enslaved in a theology that merely kept chains on our brains when they took them off our legs and our arms. Many of those chains were put on by oppressors. Many of those chains were put on by ourselves. But history has a way at every interval of bringing men into the scene that can help unlock those chains. And we're here tonight because one man decided that he would stop on his road to glory and help unlock some chains for us. Many people say many things about the honorary Reverendite, like they do about any man in history that has ever done anything significant. But I grew up in a fundamentalist church, and one of the things that I retained in the teaching was they said that you would judge a man by the fruits he bears. Like many people, I cynically had reviewed Reverendite, and like many people, we analyzed the flash and the cash before we analyzed what somebody is saying. But I started looking past the criticism toward making my own decisions about people. And I started listening very careful to criticism. And I found out that people that said he shouldn't be living good was living a lot better than me off of me. A lot of the preachers that criticized Rolls Royces didn't criticize their own Cadillacs when they was having us riding buses and trains. So I saw a peculiar trend of inconsistency. Then when I started listening, I learned that he wasn't only riding Rolls Royces, but was trying to get me in one. And I want to say to those that have worked with us in the civil rights movement, the only answer for minority people, oppressed people, black people, whatever people, is that we have got to quit looking on the outside and blaming people on the outside for what we can do for ourselves. And this more than anything is why we said that we would come together tonight with whoever would come with us and tell the world as young people that we're no longer going to be walking on the picket line, but we're going to go down and get on the bank line. We want to see the till at the bank. We have listened to Reverendite. We have listened to his philosophy, and we've listened to the others. And we found that a God in us is much more valuable than a God somewhere that we could never quite locate. Many people thank him for personal healing. Many people thank him for personal advancement. Many people thank him for specific counseling. But I want to thank him on behalf of young people, minority people, and general people around the world for taking God out of the sky and bringing him down here where he can do us some good. I want to say to him and to his organization that I know that it is not easy to take the position they took. We have a great man who's going to speak in a little while, who is a follower of another great man, Elijah Muhammad, who took a step that many people do not applaud you and salute you when you go against the trend. And though people say, well, Reverend Ike should do this, Reverend Ike should do that, it takes more guts to not join the clique and tell the truth than it does to stay in the clique remain broke and hang out with the fellas criticizing those doing good. But because he had the guts to take that break, a lot of young people around the country is going to take that break now, and we're going to quit begging other folks for doing what we can do for ourselves. We're going to quit looking for handouts and poverty programs and start analyzing what we can do if we pull our own resources together. Yes, we can save ourselves. Yes, we can deliver ourselves. Yes, we've heard the word, Reverend Knight. And we're going to take it, we won't all be in a church context, but we're going to take it internally and try to build and save our own communities. And we're not going to get on our knees and beg nobody. We're going to get up and look in the mirror and demand ourselves to get up and do something. So we want to say to you, Reverend Ike, as we will say in a little while in an award form, that we're glad that you had enough love for us, that when you learned these principles, like many of our other leaders, you did not keep them inside, but that you gave them to us. And by your giving them to us, we hope that in some way we can make you proud of your sacrifice and to know that your living and your existence and your ministry has not been in vain. We have several awards, and we thank the organizations that did, including Citywide Neighborhood Conference, Dr. William, Billy Johnson, and others that are presentable to Reverend Ike tonight. But I'm going to ask a few of the prestigious members of the New York community to come out and for the presentation of this award. I'd first like to introduce the minority leader of the New York State Senate, State Senator Vander Beatty. Can you give him a hand? The former commissioner of boxing and one of the most prestigious businessmen in our community, Mr. Kenneth Sherwood. And the resident minister of the United Church, Dr. Robert Jiggets. We all have come to stand and help on this occasion to give the award and to introduce to you the man we are to honor. I'm going to ask the champ to step back out with us. The man that we want to give this award to, we feel has done great and significant things, and who we're happy to salute tonight as young people, Dr. Frederick J. Ikerin Cota, better known as Reverend Ike. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Ike.
All righty. Don't sit down just yet. I want you to do something for me. First of all, let's give a great big hand for evangelist Muhammad Ali. And there's something that we do in every one of our meetings that I'm going to have you to do now. It's a very simple thing. I'm just going to have you shake hands with each other and say, "The presence of God in me blesses the presence of God in you." Please, would you do that? All right, you may be seated. I want to give a great deal of thanks to all of you wonderful people who came out here this Saturday night for this occasion. There's so many wonderful people to thank. I want to thank the Reverend Alfred Sharpton and the National Youth Movement. Give them a great big hand. It's a wonderful thing to see in America that all of the youth are not going to the dogs. And I'm very happy for Reverend Sharpton and his group of young people for all that they have been doing in the National Youth Movement. I want to thank the committee which formulated this affair, and my friends and supporters that have supported my ministry down through the years, because I want you to know that God supports my ministry and me by means of you, and I appreciate you. And I want to thank the wonderful participants on this program. I sat backstage with the champ a while ago and watched all of these wonderful, beautiful young people who were up here singing, dancing, and playing musical instruments. Now, they are a part of the answer and not a part of the problem. So let's give these wonderful young people a great big hand. Now, the champ was telling us the cause of some of the problems that we have in this country, and I'd like to add my 2 cents in. I think a part of the cause is because we don't encourage our good young people enough. And we give too much attention to the troublemakers. Now, I'd like to know how much press coverage the kids who were in here singing and dancing tonight are going to get. And see how much press coverage the people who may be down on 42nd Street are going to get for doing various acts of terror and atrocity. Because you know, where your attention goes, the power flows. And if we... And another thing, as people, we know how bad we can be. But let's turn our attention around and see how good we can be. We know how low we can sink, but let's turn our gaze upward and learn how high we can go. Yes, we know how poor we can be. God knows I know. But it's time we looked up out of degradation, out of poverty, out of discouragement, and say with the psalmist, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. And my help comes from the Lord. My help comes from this presence, this power of God that is within me. And it motivates me to be, to do, and to have my best. I want to thank the God, the divine power that is within all of you for your coming out here and being out here tonight. I've got about 10 more minutes to talk. I don't know what you paid for your seats, but I want everybody down here in the gray seats. Would you do that? Come on. There we go. I can see you better, and perhaps you can see me better. Now, we've just had one of the most interesting men on earth to talk to us, Muhammad Ali. I've watched him for a long time. He's a fantastic young man. He is much more than I would say the general public recognizes him to be. This Muhammad Ali is a master at practicing mind science and positive self-image psychology. Well, I remember when he used to be Cassius Clay. And you remember way back then, he said some words that might have seemed very bragging, but I understood what he was doing and what he was saying. He used to run around at the beginning of his career saying, "I am the greatest." And folks said, "My God, what a braggadocious that is." But I understood what he was doing. You see, he was talking about the laws of the universe and cosmic laws and the laws of God. And I'd like to mention something else with respect to that. It is a law of mind. It is a cosmic law that whatever you add to "I am," you become. Don't forget that. Whatever you add to "I am," you become. I remember before one of his fights, he ran around shouting into every microphone and at every reporter, "I am the greatest, I am the greatest." And so finally the journalists were saying, "I sure wish somebody would whip that." But after the fight, which he won, and he came back in for the press interview, he looked at them all and said, "Who's the greatest?" And like dogs with their tails dragging, they all said, "You're the greatest." He said, "I didn't hear you." "Who's the greatest?" And he made them raise the chorus louder and louder. "You are the greatest. You are the greatest. You are the greatest." Ladies and gentlemen, he used that mystic law, that cosmic law of mind. Whatever you add to "I am," you become. And so many times, you know, we may watch public figures and miss a lot of things. And I think we've watched Muhammad Ali over the years, and we've missed a lot of the lesson that we could learn from him. Even the scripture says, "Let the weak say, I am strong." Never say that you are that which you do not wish to be. Let the weak say, "I am strong." Why? Because you become whatever you say about yourself in your heart. If in your heart you say, "I can't get no money, I can't hold no money," then money will flee from you. It follows. Even let the poor say, "I am rich," and then rich ideas will flow into your mind and motivate you to do that which is right and necessary for your success and prosperity.